right? Is that what's going on there? Somebody should lower that, okay? Or have instructions, that's all I'm saying. Your comedian, the top of your comedian's head is on social media on your stuff. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking to the guys, so anybody married any hot women? This is like, what is that, Family Feud? Good answer, good answer. Good answer. Well, by hot women, what I mean is menopausal women. That's what I mean. Hey, it's true. I've been married 30 years. It was bound to happen, right? Matter of fact, I love it, because there are some days I'm married literally to the hottest woman in America. Who can say that? Nobody. Me. I can. At 7 a.m. every single morning. Like, get off me! I'm like, I'm not even on you. That's the blanket. By the way, I have a name. It's not Get Me Water, okay? Jeez. It's okay, I love her. She's cool. She's cool. She's got to be cool. She's put up with me for 30 years. Like, what the heck, man? Seriously though, I love her. We had this thing where, everybody's got their rules or the things that they do around the house, right? Like the honey-do list, or like, I take out the trash. I get yelled at for not emptying the dishwasher. That's where I fit in there. But my wife's job, she takes the dogs to the vet. We have 2 dogs, and I love them. They're getting up there, so they're like me. They see the doctor as much as me now. They're in for whatever, And one time she went in there, and I had to wrangle him because my one dog was sick, and I got a dog that will not get in the car unless the other dog's in the car. Okay, I don't know what's going through his head, but he's like, no, if Chloe's not in there, I'm not in there. These are the rules. And I'm like, you know what? I expect more from a rescue dog. You were in the joint once, okay? You're on parole. I'm just letting you know. This is parole. This is you're not free, okay? So we go to the vet, and so she's like wrangling. The dog don't get in the car. We get out, and my job is to take care of the other dog. And we're sitting there, and she goes in, and Clyde will not get on the scale. Okay, it's on the ground now. You don't even have to pick the dog up anymore. He just walks on the scale. He will not get on. He thinks that doggy hell is there. That's the door. It's a trap door. It's going to open. He's going to go down, be surrounded by cats the rest of his life. Because we don't know what he did when he was in the joint. We don't know. We don't know how he got there. I didn't ask. It's fair, right? So he won't get on there. So my wife and the vet tech are negotiating this, right? How do we get the weight of this dog, And I know enough to just sit in the corner, okay? I've been married long enough. If there's a scale involved, I'm not in that discussion. I'm not taking notes. I have a short memory. I don't remember what you weighed on our wedding day. I don't know any of that. I don't remember what you looked like. You looked exactly like you did today, honey. That's my story. That's the way it goes, man. Yeah, seriously. But they're negotiating, right? Because it's imperative that we weigh Clyde for some reason, because he looks the same weight as the last time he was there. I don't know. We could estimate, I thought, but whatever. I'm just sitting there. And so this thing's on there, and the vet tech had a great idea, ladies. She had a great idea. She's like, Lisa, why don't you get on the scale? So we have a 114-pound Chihuahua, and that weight was mostly Chihuahua. Man, I'm a dog lover. I got a story I'm gonna tell later about cats. We got cat people in the audience? Yeah. No, you can't boo cats, because cats are booing you. Actually, every guy in this room secretly would love to be a male cat. Other than the getting mauled by raccoons part, it's kind of a good life. Okay? But we have a great relationship. And you turn a certain age and stuff starts to happen to your eyes that isn't fair. I refuse to believe that I needed glasses. And I'm correct, I'm not wearing them now. But I don't have to see you guys in detail, okay? Not doing your taxes. And I got, and so one day I'm sitting there and my wife's like, hey, look, you definitely need readers. And I'm like, I definitely don't need readers. She's like, well, then tell me why you're reading the newspaper and it's on the floor. That's where Clyde goes to the bathroom, honey. So I got readers everywhere. As a matter of fact, if I ever got lost, I could just follow my lost readers back home. At any given time, I've got 90 of them laying somewhere. Matter of fact, there's probably some in my yard burning poor ants that don't realize that they're walking under that stupid thing. But after a lot of years of marriage, you learn things, right? That you're both going to need readers. It's going to happen. You're both going to need things as you get older. And it's important when you get married that when you take those vows, you understand for better or for worse. Worse is coming. So all that... They wouldn't put it in there. I'm Catholic, right? We go to confession. They wouldn't offer confession if they know you were sin. You know what I'm saying? They know. Worse is in there, right? Readers aren't that bad. Unless you both happen to forget them. That's bad. That's how you end up with a box of tampons and nobody gets their period. You're pouring cereal and it's like, this frosted wheat is huge and more bland than usual. Well, but the worst thing was, and it happened in Niles, okay? And I like the restaurant, okay? We're at Hope Ping House, it's right over here. Chinese food, great Chinese food. And we're sitting there, and we got the menus, and it's a little dim. I mean, if you're in a Chinese restaurant and the lights are bright, you're not in a Chinese restaurant. You went to a different restaurant. They're just hired Chinese people. That's the rules. But we sit there, and there's nothing worse than being farsighted and in a dim room and have to order something you're gonna eat. Like, that's not good. And then have to ask somebody whose English is their 8th language. It's not gonna work out. But what was the worst thing is, and I feel terrible about it, we're sitting there across from each other, and I'm squinting at this menu, and she's squinting at that menu, and we realize we're both squinting in a Chinese restaurant. Okay, the worst part is I kind of realized I'm kind of into Asians. And that happened there, but it was still my wife. I'm like, wow, can you squint later? I don't know what you guys are thinking, okay? This is a church. Jeez. Now, my wife's a good sport. She puts up with all that crap for me all the time. We got any Gen Xers in the audience? I'm a Gen Xer. Yeah, we got one. You're on. Everybody's on the Google. Yeah, I'm detecting a lot of millennials, right? It's okay. Right? Go millennials. And get me something to drink. Hey, wait a minute. I feel bad for millennials, and it's simply because Gen X has taken everything. Yeah. We did. We took, you know what we took first? Tattoos. Yeah. When I was a kid, if you had mother tattooed on your arm, you were the toughest guy in the neighborhood in New Jersey. Now, if you have a tattoo, it just means you like sunsets and Chinese food, because that's what the Chinese emblem is. It's special number 6, okay? We took that from you, millennials. We took it. It used to be tough. You used to be able to get a tattoo and be like, I'll be going wherever I want. It says mother, doesn't it? That's an anchor. Out of the way. And you would get out of the way, because that was a guy who was in a foxhole and meant it. Now it's like, oh boy. We took Harley Davidsons too. You know what? If you drive a Harley Davidson, no offense, man, it just means you make more than $130,000 a year. That doesn't mean you're tough. It used to mean you park wherever you want, just a Harley Davidson, you can't hear it. I can't hear you, blah, blah, blah. Now they get off and they're like, they gotta take this helmet off and I gotta put my ear things out because I need to hear when I'm old. The people that used to ride that didn't even wear a helmet. They were like, my ears, that's the last thing I have to worry about. Hearing, then I have to hear my wife. That was what, that's how our parents were, the Gen X parents were. Their job was to not listen to anybody in the house. They couldn't wait to be deaf. They were like, they were just holding on to be deaf someday. That was like my dad. He would sit there and ruffle the newspaper, and I'm like, we know what you're doing. we know. But we took that. You know what? We're coming for. We got Facebook already, by the way. You see 4-year-olds and recipes. Gen X owns it. Okay. We're coming for TikTok. And Kohl's. No, wait a minute. Kohl's is just German for Gen X, isn't it? I like me some Kohl's. Everything's on sale every day. Nobody knows the price of anything there. It's like buying a car that you can't negotiate for. It's like, I once watched the prices change. I was like looking at the thing, I was like, this went up. Like, what is this, a commodity? Just trying to buy an Arrow shirt. It's not wrinkled, because I'm on my way somewhere, because that's how we roll. You ever do that? You're on the way to a wedding, you're like, what am I forgetting? You're like, you're not in a suit. Oh, crap. I don't even own a suit anymore, because when you do this, you wear a suit, you're uptight. I know, I was told everybody's been wearing a suit. I was prepped. I was like, well, I don't fit in my tux anymore. I was taller then. I like to talk about my mom. She was born and raised in East St. Louis. She's pretty. So there's a very agreeable person right here. She was. I don't know her, but you look like you're from St. Louis. I don't think so. I will tell you, my mom is a church-going lady. She was tough, though, man, yet really super tough, man. Tough. She had a tough job, a hard-nosed job. She had to negotiate. It was physical, raise her voice, fight tooth and nail every day, because that's what it takes to be a first-grade teacher in Newark, New Jersey. If there's anybody that needed church, it's that woman. But she was good, man. She didn't, she was just a mild-mannered person, unless she just sat down to have her cigarette and the phone rang, in which case she cursed like an iron worker. It was like, she'd just be like, the phone rings, she'd be like, bleep, 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 bleep. Yes, Bishop. The cookies will be at Mass, just like every Sunday. Just like every bleeping Sunday. I'd be a little mad too, because I bought those Viceroys for 8 years old. Oh yeah, that's another thing we took from you. You gotta get ID for everything, because we bought all the stuff that can kill you. They're like, damn, you sold all that to kids? I'd go into a bar to buy my mom's Viceroys. A bar! I'd be on my tricycle in New Jersey. It's pretty hard, because you try to get on the parkway like with one arm. Go in there, and I was in Italy. I thought I was in Italy till I was 10. I mean, that's and I'd go to Carmine's bar, and he'd be like, okay, here's the Viceroys, and here's a pack of matches for you, and I would just get the door, he'd be like, hey, Robbie, come back over here. Here's a pack of matches for you. New Jersey's great. In Indiana, we had any Indiana people where we all... Right. What do they teach in Indiana? You learn all the counties in Indiana, don't you? Isn't that true? I was like a parlor trip with all my friends. They can name all the counties. In New Jersey, they don't do that. They just teach you the 7 states don't extradite back to New Jersey. That's the important stuff for you to get there. Well, I will tell you that I grew up in Atlantic City, and it was kind of a tough neighborhood. I'm not that tough. I'm just fast. You have 2 choices, tough or fast. I was fast. But I eventually, if you live in New Jersey, eventually you work at the casinos. It's just what happens. It's like if you live in Flint, Michigan, eventually you're in the car business somehow. And I was a casino host. I brought in high-level gamblers, right, for a living. It was an interesting job, right? And I only had one mafia client. I had one mafia client. And I knew mafia people. I just didn't know they were mafia until I was older. I'm like, wow, I didn't know Archie was in the mob. And it's like, you didn't notice he always had $100,000 in cash on his desk? You didn't notice that? That was like, you passed that up? But Al was a good dude in his way. Mafia people really aren't good dudes because you just kind of look away from what they actually do, you know? But I was his guy, man. He loved me. He loved me so much that when I left the casino and I went to sell copiers, he tried to buy 30 copiers from me. Just as like a tip. And you just don't say no to Al, man. It's not something you do. You don't say no to a guy like Al. But my boss said no to Al. And I was like, that's a bad idea, Bart. His name was Bart. Only Bart I've ever known. That's a bad idea, Bart. He's like, well, you don't understand. It's against the rules. He lives in Brooklyn, and he's buying them in Philadelphia. And I was like, I would have sold him the copiers. And he wanted to buy 30 copiers. For the next 30 days, Bart had dead fish delivered to him every day for 30 days. That's kind of Al. He was looking out for me. But one time, he was selling his 1988 Lincoln Continental. And anybody my age knows that a 1988 Lincoln Continental was the pimpinest ride you could possibly own. It had the flip-up headlights. It was midnight purple, which is a color. Sounds like an adult film, but... but it was midnight purple, so you could ride at night, and it's like you couldn't see it. It was beautiful, right? And I wanted to buy it. He was going to sell it to me for $2,800. I remember the price. So where do you meet a mafia boss to buy a car? Under a single, light in an alley. That's exactly what was going on. But Al turned into like a used car salesman. He was like a mafia. I was like, all of a sudden he's like, hey, Perugini, check out this car. Look at this. Look at this car. The women love this car. Now, this car is well known in Atlantic City, by the way. Okay, and I'm like, oh, I really wanted it because it's actually because the seat went all the way up and I actually could look over the hood. I couldn't tell him that. That's not cool. So I'm up there, and he's like, look at this car, man. It's perfect. He's giving me the whole spiel like I'm on a car lot. And he opens the trunk, which is always a moment of trepidation. If you've seen any mafia movie, that's a moment where I was like, oh, God. Either I don't need to get in the trunk, trying to think, did I wrong him? He opens it up and he's like, look at this trunk, Perugini. It's so big you can't even hear the shovels touch. But that wasn't the kicker. That wasn't the kicker. I walk around the thing and I get to the passenger side and the rear passenger has 9 bullet holes in it. And I'm like, hey, Al, man, what's going on? He's like, adds a lot of character, doesn't it? I don't know if it was character. I don't know if it's exactly character. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, unfortunately, my Uncle Dominic passed away in this car. I'm like, Al, I can't buy a car that somebody was murdered in. It's evidence. He's like, hey, wait a minute, Perugini. The coroner said he died of a heart attack. But Indiana is a lot like New Jersey, not at all. I just like to say that because it makes me laugh. Yeah, there's corn in New Jersey. Somewhere. I think it's in the supermarket. Most people in New Jersey think our corn comes from the supermarket. Like there's just a closet that grows corn in it. Like, where does beef come from? Well, it comes from aisle 9. That's the cocoa. No, but I'm like, I live in a crazy place according to my relatives. Like they always ask me questions like, what's Indiana like? And I'm like, well, it's where the country keeps its bad weather when it's not using it. It's cool though, because if you live in Indiana, and I dare to say Niles, anywhere you go on vacation seems exotic.